Well, we've got some really cold air that's lurking really far north across the North Pole. We're going to look at that. Plus, we've got a big Pacific storm that's moving in. It's going to bring a significant amount of change across the west, especially the Intermountain West as we head toward the end of the week. And we're talking about snow that could add up in the highest elevations, 1, maybe 2 feet of snow. And temperatures are also going to drop by a good 15 to maybe even 30 degrees. So big snow expected Thursday into Friday into the Intermountain West. We're going to look at that with the highest elevations getting some snow. And across the high plains, we're getting some unseasonably warm weather. You guys may know what I'm talking about. Temperatures here have been way above average, and that will continue with highs in the 70s and 80s. Generally here, a good 15 to 20 degrees above average, and that will continue as we head into Thursday and then into Friday. There's also going to be a fire danger due to the increasing winds, also some lower humidities, and that's going to certainly cause some issues here with that setup. So as we head through the day Friday, strong southwest, or should I say Thursday and into Friday, strong southwest winds will pick up, and the concern will be from Nebraska as far north as Minnesota, South Dakota, Iowa, all of these areas where there's dry fuels and strong winds, we've got some fire danger here. Further east, high pressure here, drying us out. We've got cool, calm conditions, and that also means the potential for some freezing temperatures. This is a cold air mass that's settled in here, so there's a chance for some frost, maybe even some freezing conditions from the mid-Atlantic down into parts of the southeast and into the northeast. Freeze warnings are in effect for some areas. Frost advisories are out, so make sure you head over to weather.gov to see if you are under any particular advisories. Our next system is starting to be felt across the Pacific Northwest. That will continue to move east. It's going to bring the chance, as I said, for some snow here into the Intermountain West that could add up again, especially here in the parts of southwest Colorado, the Wasatch, up towards Yellowstone. We're going to get some snow and into the Canadian Rockies and into the coastal ranges right here along British Columbia. I kind of hinted at it, but there is a tremendous amount of cold air that continues to build up across the Arctic. One thing we're not going to see, though, at least I don't think, we're kind of getting it right now, but I don't think we're going to get a big intrusion of this cold air south over the next couple of days. Now, as we head toward Thursday, Friday, we'll start to warm up across the east, and then another cool shot tries to move south heading to early next week. But really, this is almost going to be a glancing blow here to the Great Lakes, maybe the Northeast, but it's not going to dig into the south again like the cool weather we're seeing across the west. Temperatures will start to warm up. It looks like that anyway as we head into next week. And again, look at this, guys. I want to show you something. These numbers here across Siberia. Now, this is a big deal because this is where the cold air is starting to build. Our polar vortex is actually starting to get stronger here around the North Pole. And generally, when that happens, you actually see less intrusions of cold air down into North America. It also lets the cold air continue to build and sort of just get colder and colder, if you will, here with the shorter days across Siberia, also the Northwest Territories, parts of Alaska. So if we can keep this cold air bottled up here, it just gets colder and colder. And what's interesting is look how warm it is. I mean, I'm drawing this out right in here, just north of Alaska. A lot of unfrozen water here. So with the open sea, any cold air that tries to move across from Siberia actually modifies some as it moves across that area. So if we can keep this cold air over here into Siberia, and at least below freezing in this area, we'll start to build that sea ice and that cold air will start to transition across the North Pole. But in the short term, it looks like at least, I think, until toward the end of the month, another shot of some cold air for the east. Otherwise, I think temperatures get back above normal, and they may actually stay there. Take a look at this. As we head toward the weekend, the cold weather across the east and the Midwest and the Great Lakes, it's going to be a distant memory. Cold air across the southwest, what goes up must come down. In this case, what goes down in the west goes up in the east. The big ridge here building. We've got this upper low that we're watching across the east coast, at least out to sea. There may be some influence here with some waves, some coastal erosion possibly. Now this ridge here across the east, it looks like it's going to stick around. And I think that means above normal temperatures at least for the next week or so. We'll have to watch this low also moving across the central U.S. It may bring some severe weather heading into next week. Still some time on that. But let's talk about the short term here. We start to dry out. There's that low off the east coast I was talking about. Some decent waves and some onshore flow here into parts of Massachusetts, also into the northeast, into parts of Maine. High pressure building in. We start to see skies clear out where we've held onto the clouds and even some snow showers. And then we get some sunshine heading into Friday. And then maybe a few few light showers try to work in as we head into Saturday and Sunday in these areas. A little bit of light snow in the mountains of West Virginia settles down, just a few flurries. Otherwise, high pressure builds in, and this is clear blue skies, I think, for many of these areas. And on the backside of this high, again, that fire danger going up here across parts of the Midwest and really back into the plains as we see those dry conditions build in. And that is a really dry air mass that's starting to settle in. Across the west, here's our storm moving in first to the Pacific Northwest. It'll drop snow in the Cascades. Eventually, that snow moves into the Intermountain West, and that snow could get heavy into the Utah mountains from the Wasatch Mountains just to the east of Salt Lake City, south. Really above 7,000 feet is where you're going to see the most snow accumulation, and some of that snow also is going to stretch out northeast up into parts of Wyoming too. This upper low here, really it's back here, but this surface low back across the Four Corner states will drop to the south, and we'll see some snow here across the high country. And I'm talking about the places like the San Francisco peaks, the highest elevations of southwest Colorado. We'll start to see the snow pick up. And again, some of that snow could add up in the order of 1 to 2 feet at the highest elevations. Some areas seeing closer to 8 to 12. And then once you get down into the lower elevations, say below 7,000 feet, those numbers taper off pretty quickly. So the valley floors will have a hard time getting much snow out of this, but still, you'll feel the cool down for sure. A slew of freeze warnings and frost advisories out. Look at those temperatures in the northeast starting out in the 20s all the way down into the southern Appalachians here. East of the mountains, we're talking about 30s, 39 in Charlotte is the modeled low tomorrow morning. So pretty chilly here. And then as we head to the south, cool weather down into Florida, too. We're talking about low 50s here, close to Tampa, and 30s from Atlanta over to Birmingham. I don't know that we get into the 30s, but it'll be close. And we're starting to warm up at least some here on the backside of this high, with you can see temperatures on the way back up as we head toward through the day Thursday and especially into Friday. Friday morning will not be nearly as cold in many of these areas. I'd say by a good 5 degrees in the morning anyway, a little bit warmer. And there comes the really warm air just surging to the north and east as we head into Friday and Saturday. There's that cold shot of air heading south. By Friday, we're looking at highs in Phoenix, which has been really above average over the last really couple of days. Now we're back into the 60s and 70s here with below freezing temperatures into the mountains. A quick look at the week ahead and into the weekend, or at least what's left of the week ahead, I should say. We've touched on a lot of this. There's that storm out west, high pressure across the east, keeping us dry. We've got some onshore flow here into Florida. That could bring some rain showers here, and that looks like it's going to continue as this strong high sits just to your north. And we're also watching another system that moves into the Pacific Northwest as we head into now Monday and then into Tuesday. This low kicks to the east. It may bring a few showers here, and that would be some good news. We really need some rain here, really dry here across the plain states, and that moves into the Great Lakes. And then once we get a week out, right, things get kind of iffy, but there's that quick shot of cool air that could impact the northeast with a few rain and snow showers. We can't forget the tropics. This area right in here, especially as it moves close to the Lesser Antilles, may develop into a tropical depression. National Hurricane Center says there's about a 40% chance of development over the next 7 days. This area here that's off the coast of Central America, expected to move inland here, if anything. So at this point in time, it doesn't look like a threat to the lower 48, but I tell you, you need to watch this one as we head into next week. All right, that's all I got. See ya.